afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome all of you to the SkillsFuture Month in collaboration with Smart Nation 2021, organized by SkillsFuture Singapore and Smart Nation Singapore. Our speaker, Dr. Monajemi, will be sharing the topic, AI and Machine Learning in Our World. Throughout the session, please feel free to post your questions in the Q&A tab that you see on the right panel. Do take note, questions will be moderated. Dr. Monajemi, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. I don't know if I was supposed to start or my friend George was supposed to introduce me or something like that. Doesn't matter. Let me continue with my slide. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this short webinar on AI and our board. And over here, we are going to talk about the AI application in current world, and we will try to address those stuff that related to AI and machine learning and their applications in the real world. In particular, we are going to show you the effects of AI in different businesses. Of course, as much as the time allow me to move ahead and get into depth of that topic. So AI and machine learning in our current world, and you can see my details and so on. What we are going to have today in this short webinar, we will introduce the topics, and then we will talk about definition of AI and machine learning briefly. Then we will review a couple of real-world use cases. Some implementation would be seen, trends, and the future of AI and its application, and finally, conclusive remarks. What you can see here, my friend, is a memorial plaque installed in Dartmouth College in New York, that black one. What it has got to do with AI. Actually, in that summer research school in Dartmouth College in New York, back to 1956, consider that it is actually around 70 years ago. They coined the term AI, and they answered yes to this key question: if computers can think and behave like us, if computers can think or not. Why over there, and why in 1956? Actually, there were some pioneers, and they thought that after having digital computers, it is not very far from reach if we can develop the computers that can think and behave like human beings. Because they thought that, okay, computers have got memory just like human beings. They can do some logical operations, some mathematical operation, just like our learning. We can program a digital computer. Of course, we need a couple of decades to realize that, okay, the way that we think is very different from the way that a digital computer can solve a problem. And a couple of more decades we needed to come across the way to implement a kind of AI in our machines. Actually, we can say that, okay, after many moving ups and downs in the early years of AI, the first AI breakthrough was 1997, the second one was in 2006, and now we are living in the age of AI. What were those two breakthroughs? We will get back to that, but this is just a memorial plaque to show the bears of AI. A bit about me. I'm a senior lecturer with School of Continuing and Lifelong Education. Over there, we have developed a series of AI courses. We'll get back to the details of those courses at the end of this presentation if we've got enough time. And I have taught AI since 2006 and data analytics, other related machine learning stuff since 2010 before joining NUS at 2019. I was a professor of AI and machine vision at University of Isfahan in Iran. To introduce, okay, I told you about those breakthroughs. Okay, we have got digital computer, so we can develop artificial intelligence. A bit of great expectation, a bit of overestimating your abilities, and a bit of misunderstanding of the way human beings solve the problems, the way human beings think, the way our mental system and nervous system and brain work. But after a few decades, we realized that, as I mentioned, after a few more decades, we realized how to solve that and how to develop real AI machines, real AI algorithms. And the first breakthrough, let's say 1997, when IBM supercomputer Deep Blue managed to beat Garry Kasparov, the world chess champion. So it was a milestone in the history of AI, a U-turn in the history of AI. In 2006, researchers managed to develop the first deep neural network model, a complete package of a deep neural network. And this way we managed to have a very abstract and simplified model of our brain, very abstract and much more simplified than our brain, but we got into a right direction. And it was actually when we started to solve real world problem and having a kind of reliable and robust AI system. Therefore, after that, we can consider that many big names behind the AI, behind the development of AI, many successful AI projects. Actually, my friends, back to 1990s, I was second degree MSc AI student. Actually, I was amongst the first series of students accepted to study AI in MSc level in Iran. And over that time, to have some extra money, some pocket money, I was working in a computer company to develop MIS systems as well. So I was a software developer too. And at that time, software people, programmers, actually, they were used to kidding us, teasing us, by saying that if a system works, there is no AI. To some extent, they were right. Our AI before 2006 was something like balloons compared to a real jet plane. We can consider 2006 and development of deep learning system as bears of commercial, operational, reliable AI. Just like the year that Wright brothers invented the first plane. Before that, we had got balloons. AI before 2006 was a kind of, we had something, expert system, etc., but they were balloons, not controllable, reliable planes. But just after Wright brothers invented that first plane, in a few decades, we managed to develop I don't know, big planes, multi-engine planes, planes that can travel from one a continent to another one. We had got jet planes just a few decades. Something similar happened to AI. Just 15 years after that, 2006 now, we can consider AI as a very serious stuff. So now, 2021, if AI is going to change many things, it is actually. If AI is a key factor in our future our technology, economy, ordinary life, whatsoever. If we can gain a lot from AI, true, this is a fact, we can gain a lot from AI. Okay, we accept all of this. Then what are the real world case studies of AI in 2021? I'm going to address a couple of them during this webinar. Briefly, the definition of AI and its important subset, which is machine learning. Okay, artificial intelligence enables computers and machines to mimic the perception, learning, problem solving, and decision-making capabilities of our brain and mental system. Therefore, we can expect machines, after facilitating them with AI, to get into jobs that so far only have been limited to human operators, such as driving a car, controlling a factory, monitoring a process, doing medical diagnostic, and so on. Machine learning as an important set of AI is where we would like to develop systems that can learn from experience, from environment, from feedback, from data. Therefore, they can increase their performance. Therefore, they can get into new jobs and new environment and new situation. Because we are living in the world of data, because data, digital data, all around us, machine learning now can use those data to train some machines that would be able to do many fantastic jobs. Actually, most of our advanced AI systems are machine learning systems. Just a brief on AI impacts. You know these two gentlemen. In the left, we have got Antonio Guterres, the head of United Nations, General Secretary of United Nations. I'm quoting from him just a few months ago, less than a year ago. The relationship between the US and China has never been as dysfunctional as it is today, as two superpower of current world. These means this fight, a kind of problem between US and China, divides, namely the economic divide, risks to create two blocks with two dominant currencies, with the two sets of trade rules, two different internets, two strategies in artificial intelligence, and then inevitably two geostrategic and military strategies. That is a huge risk for the world. As UN General Secretary, he considered the AI as one of the key factors to divide these two nations. He didn't mention military, missiles, I don't know, bombers, but mentioned two strategies in artificial intelligence, which actually very important for superpower, for any advanced countries of the world. In the left, we have got our comrade Vladimir Putin, president of the Russia, and last year he mentioned artificial intelligence is the future not only for Russia but for all humankind. It comes with colossal opportunities but also threats that are difficult to predict. Whoever becomes the leader in this sphere, means AI field, will become the ruler of the world. So These two world leaders both mentioned the AI impacts, the importance of AI. And that's true. Both said some true points. AI is very important for advanced nations in the future. Let's move ahead and see the list of real world case studies that we are going to talk about. There are many. Just to name but a few, I consider these four fields to describe real world case studies of AI applications on them. One of them is robotic surgery, where AI facilitated robots can do some surgeries. Next one is education. How AI can help us in training, education, learning, schools, universities, wherever, personal education, self-studies. Next, we are going to talk about the impacts of AI on banking and finance as a very important branch in business, as well as something that we are dealing with every day. These are a part of banking and finance, is an important part of our life. Anyway, apart from an important branch in our business sector and service sector. Finally, surveillance, and see how AI can give us and provide us a better surveillance system. I'm going to start with robotic surgery. There are many examples of systems developed based on robots to do the surgery. In many cases, human operators over here, skilled surgeons, are controlling the system. However, in different parts of even those systems, we can see the effects of AI. For instance, for providing clearer images, for detection of a kind of hazards, for doing a kind of correction on possibly wrong decisions made by the surgeon. And we are going to have fully automatic robotic surgeons as well. Now they are trying to allow these systems to learn from skilled surgeons, many skilled surgeons actually, and do the job themselves. Da Vinci, as one of the examples of robotic surgical systems, not the only one, there are many, has been around since 2004, 2005, more than 16, 17 years ago. They are very precise. They mostly use laser beams instead of knives and blades. And they can overcome many challenges that we have faced in open surgery. And actually, the control is much better, and the precision compared to the skilled hands of a good surgeon is even better. Robotic surgery can be used in many fields. For instance, we can consider them as an ideal tool to do gynecological surgeries, treatment of gynecological. Knee surgeries to solve the osteoarthritis problem. For one of the earliest usage of those Da Vinci surgical system, as well as others, were in prostate removal in the case of cancer or risk of cancer. Thyroid removal, again, they are very good in thyroid removal, and in surgical oncology, they are just 5 of the fields that robotic surgery is very popular in, but not only them. the data published in scientific journals and medical journals all suggest that uh, this is a good way to go. This is a very good way to go. Actually, in cases, for instance, assisted pyeloplasty surgery, the success rates using robotic surgery reported between 94 to 100%. Compared to traditional open surgery, robotic surgery has got smaller incisions, and this reduces the pain after the surgery, the size of scars, and less time for recovery in hospital or at home. However, now we are going to have more automatic robotic surgery, and we are going to rely more on AI than before in robotic surgery. How? The next generation of surgical robots are AI based. Over there, we, of course, in many cases, because of the risk, because of the considering the maximum assurance, we keep that surgeons in the room. They are monitoring, but actually the robot does the surgery. And this way, having AI in surgery, we will revolutionize this field. We can do some, let's say, some impossible surgeries now, thanks to robots. We can ask them, these robots, to do some impossible surgeries. Later, you may send an agent, a tiny agent, very, very small, inside a body, and that tiny capsule, robot, whatever you can call it, move inside the body, for instance, in blood vessels, and automatically solve the problem and do many surgical operations for us. Again, this means that in the future, in the near future, we can see many different shapes of surgery, not necessarily in operation theaters and something like this. No, the shape, the format could be different thanks to AI. And AI collects data over time by watching surgeons that are performing, and then gather information, analyze them, get the best way, find the best way to do that, and it will do the job. I hope, not 100% sure, but I hope that the precision of automatic robots in surgery will pass the border or limit of skilled human surgeons in the future. Next, we are going to talk about AI in educational sector. Recent pandemic, it was very bad. It was a nasty virus, destroyed many things, but this drastically shifted the landscape of education. Now we forced to rely on technology and virtual learning. Of course, after a while, we will defeat COVID, and hopefully we won't see any kind of pandemic in the near future. However, in many cases, we won't get back to the situation before pandemic. One of them, I believe, is education. The virtual learning and using technology in teaching will stay with us for a long time. Now, 86% of educators say technology should be a core part of education. Even people who didn't believe that a couple of years ago. AI has the power to optimize learning and teaching both. learning and teaching, both sides of this coin of education can be affected by AI. AI can help us to evolve our virtual tutoring environment into an intelligent one, a customizable one, a personalized one. These are important features of AI in education. AI can provide a flexible e-learning environment. So now we have got e-learning, okay? Now we have got virtual classes, okay? Now we have got, I don't know, YouTube videos for education. All true. What would be the next step? Next step is adding AI into those stuff. Means that now on, I use Zoom, but a version of Zoom facilitated with AI. I'm going to develop interactive e-learning contents, but AI would facilitate a kind of flexible contents, customizable per teacher, per learner, per teacher, per learner. And again, apart from that, we may have a kind of AI-based intelligent teaching assistants. As a teacher, to teach at any level, you may be facilitated in a few years, in a few months, even with AI-based intelligent teaching assistant, which they can help you as a very handy teaching assistant. And that would be very good. That would be very good to have something like this. AI benefits for a student in intelligent tutoring system. Personalization. AI can detect and realize the features of any learner and customize the contents, the example, the speed of teaching, the way of suggestions and justification, the focusing of the teaching, and match them to the features of that particular learner or student. We can ask AI to do the tutoring and do that in high performance. We can ask AI to do the tutoring in high performance, and that would be a very nice idea. AI will help a student to have the tutor round the clock. AI will help the students to have the proper answer very quickly. AI will provide them with a kind of affordable teachers that can help them in many cases. However, on the other hand, AI can have something for educators and teachers as well. Again, AI can help them to personalize the environment for teaching as they wish. You know, a teacher is a human being, and we have got 8 billion different human beings, even twins are more or less different. And this teacher can ask AI to help him or her to have a personalized teaching environment match with his or her requirements and features. Again, AI can help the teachers to ask proper questions, to answer the questions quickly, and to automate, for instance, essay reading and scoring, exam sheet scoring, and to monitor the progress of the students. AI can help tutors to automatically monitor the progress, the weaknesses, advantages, disadvantages of their students. And that would be a very good, apart from essay scoring, apart from providing proper exam sheet, all thanks to AI. that would be great. That would be great to have a help from an intelligent agent or teaching assistant. Okay, let's move ahead and see what we have got over there. Just three examples about that robotic surgery. We saw Da Vinci. Da Vinci introduced some 15 years ago. Now we have got many more. Even in Singapore, there are three companies. I know just three companies who are active in robotic surgery and developing robots for surgical operations. Therefore, in the world, there were much more than just Da Vinci. And in the case of AI in education, I'm going to mention three examples, three real world examples that are available. They are operational. You know, during the last 10, 15 years, we have seen operational AI in Tesla, driverless car, in Google Translator, in Grammarly, in Apple Hey Siri, in AlphaGo, in GPT-3. Now we have got operational AI, face recognizers, fingerprint recognizers, all of them. In the case of education, just three examples of many. One of them is Brainly. It is a social network for students. Of course, it is a kind of a private social network. You can use it as a social network amongst the students of a school or a few schools. Students can deliberate on matters regarding their assignments or access new ideas from their peers. So a kind of social network controlled by an AI. Inside that, the students can chat, but AI is there to help them. So Brainly is a kind of intelligent social network that helps learners to overcome their problems, learning bottlenecks, and so on. And we have got machine learning in the case of Brainly. That what is the meaning of this machine learning? If we run it this year, and this Brainly realize that students have got some problem with this or that example, that should be mentioned to the teacher for the next year, and Brainly would be ready for the next run next year or a few months later. And this time, because it had seen that problem, it will focus on describing and explaining that more clearly or in a different way, or providing more examples to a student. Whereas when it realized that this part of the course is very easy, in the later runs, it will emphasize less on that part of the course. Carnegie Learning, it offers the second example. It offers customized tutoring and live feedback for after the high school learners, students who would like to attend college or get some kind of admission from good universities. This actually assesses the keystrokes and the focal point of learners when they use their computers for learning, and allows the tutor to view the learner's progress as well. Carnegie Learning actually is an interactive bridge. I would like to call it an interactive bridge between the teachers and the learners, and it will facilitate mostly some customization for learners and some advices for teachers. This way, it will help them to increase their performance, their learning performance for both sides. As me and you all remember, math was something difficult in high school, even in primary school. Even for me, it was very difficult. I love that, but it's not that easy, math. Thinker Math is an AI-based resource assistance system for mostly teaching math to primary school students or junior high school student, intermediate school student. It has many games to teach mathematics, many award schemes to motivate the learners and boost their engagement in learning mathematics. So ThinkerMath is an environment that provides math tutoring, math lessons based on games, based on interactive examples, based on a reward scheme, and it tries to make mathematics learning very interesting and tangible for primary school kids. And you may find many other examples of AI in education sectors around the web. But the idea of using games, animations, etc., to simplify and making a rather hard topic like math more interesting is a fantastic idea. And if AI will help it to be customized, to be interactive, that would be more fantastic. AI in banking and finance, very important, very important. AI-powered system can appraise customer credit histories. They can analyze customer credit histories and help banks to avoid a not very precise way in measuring or evaluation of loan request or any request by a customer, or realizing the hazards of any customer who is under financial risk. Those in mobile banking apps, we can have AI to track financial transaction, to analyze our payments, to give us some advices about how to have better spending, more reasonable spending, and something like this. There are many sectors in banking and finance where AI can help. For instance, in customer relation, they can rely on intelligent chatbots. In fraud detection, there are many online transactions, credit cards, etc. It is very important for banks and other financial institutions to realize any risk, any fraud, and prevent the hackers from accessing the accounts information and do some foul plays. So AI is there to help them with in fraud detection, in stopping the hackers, and so on. Again, about loan request evaluation, about offering or computing the interest rate, all can be done by some help from AI. Again, cost savings connected to the use of AI can be significant in banking and finance sector. They believe that, according to some recent reports, that banks can achieve a 2 to 5 times increase in the volume of interactions or transactions with the same headcount by using AI-based tools. That would be fantastic for any bank. That would be fantastic for any bank. Using the same asset, using the same resources, if you can increase the number of transactions, if you can somehow make your customers happier, the results would be success. The results would be success in this business. Again, we can consider making investment predictions as one of the in AI and banking, AI in banking and finance as one of the places and branches when AI can help. Morgan Stanley and JP Morgan, big banks in America, they investing heavily in machine learning technology to develop automated investment advice. The disruption in the investment banking industry is quite evident. So they are going to have machine learning system to provide better investment advisory service. AI can help them a lot because data is there. They have got big data. AI can help them to analyze using machine learning techniques. We can analyze those data considering many factors and show them the risk or possible benefits of a kind of investment. This could be done in personal level for your customers. This could be done in large scale and in strategic level for your bank. So Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan are kind of pioneers in this field. Of course, inside Singapore, I'm aware of UOB and DBS who are doing the same. Process automation. Again, an example of process automation in banking and finance based on AI is Wells Fargo using machine learning driven chatbots through the Facebook Messenger, based on Facebook Messenger, to communicate with its users effectively. So AI-based chatbot system use Facebook Messenger to send some messages or voice messages or anything to Wells Fargo customers. That chatbots help Wells Fargo customers get all the information they need regarding their accounts, passwords, and other stuff. A kind of good service that we can expect from a bank. Let's move ahead and see AI in surveillance industry. How many CCTV cameras set up in the UK? 5.2 million CCTV cameras all around that island, means per capita 1 per 13 British citizens. And if we consider that we have got those CCTV cameras, but we need someone to monitor those cameras and realize any fight, any problem, anyone who needs emergency help, and something like this. How many people do we need? Consider that an operator, a human operator, can monitor 10 screens. And we need to do that round the clock, so we need 3 shifts. Therefore, my estimation is to monitor that 5.2 million CCTV cameras in England, they need 1.5 million operators. 1.5 million operators. My friend, British Army now just have got around 100,000 soldiers and officers. It is not possible to have 1.5 million people employed for watching those CCTVs. Impossible. And in Singapore, we have got around 110,000 CCTV cameras, means 1 per 18th, one for each 18 Singaporeans. This way, you need 33,000 operators, human operators, to watch those displays. Impossible, definitely impossible to employ 33,000 people for that. What is the way? And again, a single CCTV at least generates 400 gigabyte data every day. We are dealing with big data. Can AI help, please? Yes, of course. We can ask AI to do face recognition, and then whenever we find someone who is suspicious or in a list of bad guys, this AI can ring the bell. We can ask AI to monitor the CCTV footages and detect any abnormalities, for instance, a fight, a hazardous gathering, for instance, in the case of pandemic, any people who lied on the ground, reacting to the emergency cases such as fire, etc. AI can help us to react well to emergency cases such as fire, to send some messages, to ring some bells and something like this. Again, we can detect hazardous objects, obstacles, possibly explosive or guns in different video footages. It is possible for AI to help us with that. An example is here. This AI system monitors the face, and whenever the eyes are closed, for instance, this one could be a driver. He's driving a car. And whenever we detect that the eyes are closed for less than a fraction of a second, we can alarm that just like this. We can ring the bell, we can alarm, we can we can send a signal to him and make him or her awake again. So AI in surveillance, after analyzing the contents of video online in real time, we can recognize the hazardous situation, abnormal situation, criminals based on their face, and then we can react well. Again, one of the ways to identify someone online and automatically is checking his face and compare that with his valid ID card or passport or something like this. We can do this automatically as a kind of identity verification. We can ask that someone to show us his passport or driving license or any formal document with photo along with his face online, and then computer system can verify the identity of someone, and this way no one can have a fake identity even in the web. Liveness detection is the first step. Of course, there are many companies who provide this such a service. One of them is Passface. I consider them as a good example. 3D face authentication would be done here, so nobody can show a photo and claim that it is his or her face. Measures 3D depth, skin texture, eye reflections to get sure that this is a real face, not a photo. Real-time computer vision, then identity. This is selfie. Selfie, that should be a real face, not an image. Then identity document check, 6,000 documents supported, passport, national ID, driver license. Additional documents can be added. ID authenticity check would be done automatically by the system. So you show your passport along with your face, and then transparency of transfer data points would be guaranteed by their system. GDPR complaint process means that your data would be protected, and encrypted data transfer between you and the business or organization who needs to have your identity verified by this system would be done. An example is here. You take a selfie along with your ID card, and then the system will do the image processing, machine vision, AI stuff to recognize your face, to recognize the your portrait on your ID card, to read the contents of that ID card, and then to compare them, and okay, then your identity would be verified or rejected after doing many image processing and AI and computer vision stuff. Briefly, the trends of the future, we will see rapid advance in artificial intelligence and its application. fusion of AI and other advanced technologies such as blockchain, 5G, mobile technology, cloud computing, and data analytics will be seen in the future more than today. Completing end-to-end intelligent digitalization process, something like this. Intelligent digitalization means instead of verification by showing your document, you can ask a system to do that. You can see more than this process of completing the end-to-end intelligent digitalization process. To sum up, AI is expected to change jobs by taking over some tasks and create new job positions, new job opportunities. While the value of human judgment has increased, while the value of the human prediction has decreased drastically, because machines can do the prediction, but we need to use those predictions to do the judgment ourselves. So we improved ourselves, we upgraded ourselves to someone more important. We ask the system to do the basic chore jobs, and we do the event prediction, and we do the judgments. AI is going to change the world more than anything in the history of mankind, even more than electricity. Believe me or not, this would happen. Then let's learn how it is, means AI. Let's practice that, and let's dive into the future world of AI. And over here, you can see some references while I'm talking about, while I'm talking about the set of AI courses, machine learning courses, data analytics courses provided by NUS School of Continuing and Lifelong Education. Just refer to our website and you will see wide range of courses for the public, for the workforce, for adult learners, all useful for the future, all useful because they are practical courses. End of a story. You can see my email over here too. If I can help you, just drop me a line or refer to our website to see the AI, machine learning, deep learning courses that all of them have got that Singapore Future Skills approval, SSG approval, and subsidiary as well, many of them, of course. I'm going to stop right away, and I'm waiting for your possible question. Thank you very much, my friend, to stay with me. Thank you very much for your participation, and stay safe and good luck. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Dr. Amir. I hope you all enjoyed his presentation on AI and machine learning in our world. We'll now move on to the live Q&A. I'm Jared from the NUS School of Continuing and Lifelong Education. If you have any questions for Dr. Amir, please use the Q&A function in this Zoom webinar, and I'll read your question out loud. Currently, we've got a couple of questions already. So, Dr. Amir, are you ready? Dr. Amir, you're muted.
Yes, of course, my friend.
Okay, so the first question we have is, are you aware of any impact of AI and machine learning on the real estate industry?
Actually, a lot. My friends, one of the early examples of using AI as an expert system, we called that in old days an expert system, was in real estate back to 1970s and 80s in America, to evaluate the price of a piece of land or a building, apartment, whatever. So in real estate, yes, we can ask AI to help us with prediction of the market trend, as well as for evaluation of prices, services, and something like this. There are many other aspects in real estate that AI can help two. If we think as a general hint, wherever we need to thinking and analyzing data to make a decision, AI can help.
Okay, moving on to the next question. You mentioned about how AI can help with surgery and all that. So one of the questions is related to that. How much training would AI-based surgical robots need before the technology is commercialized?
Okay, it is much less than a doctor, let's say, because for a doctor, it takes years to be a good surgeon. For a computer, it would be much sooner. Honestly, I haven't got anything in my mind, but I just can say that it is not very long. Let's say we need a few weeks to complete training of a robot as a surgeon. And then you know that after that, it is very easy to copy the memory and the status of this robot into other robots. So it is not just like humankind. You should train your doctors one by one over there. We just can copy the structure into other robots, and they will be good surgeons as well. But don't worry, it takes a few years to get through that. Don't worry.
So as we're on the topic of jobs and how AI can possibly replace surgeons, so as AI takes over our jobs, what are the new jobs that AI will create for us?
AI developers, programmers, machine learning, data analysts, some white-collar workers, surgeons that can help us to develop surgical robots and something like this. We may shift into designing robots instead of doing the job.
Okay. For the next question, are social networks such as Brainly also considered artificial intelligence?
Yes, in monitoring part. You know, there is a social network between learners, and teachers are there as well. Okay, they generate data, my friend. Those transactions, those chats, those questions and answers will generate data. Then having that data, if a machine learning system, if an AI system can analyze that data, we can have some insights. For instance, when about chapter X, there are many questions, means that in the next rounds, we should spend more times in teaching the contents of chapter X. When students, many of the students claim that the explanation in chapter Y is not okay on topic A and B, we should find some more examples, a new way to discuss that contents of those particular topics on that particular chapter. Something like this. Social media is there. They are interacting with each other, learners, etc. AI is above them, monitoring, analyzing the data to get through something, to have some insight, to learn from the interactions.
Okay, we're moving on to a little bit about ethics related to AI. And one of the questions we've got is actually about ethical concerns related to the use of AI in facial recognition. Are there any such concerns currently?
A lot actually. Consider that, okay, you can use it to detect criminals. But in some cases, in some countries, the secret police may use it to find some protesters, some defectors, or something like that. More than that, it is not, I'm not going to say that, but consider that even criminals may try to find someone to, I don't know, to abduct, to something like this. This is just like a knife. A surgeon using a knife save your life. A criminal may kill you using the same knife. This is just a tool. Some criminal organization, gangs, may use that, abuse that ability to find some rich and famous people to, I don't know, to do something bad, to hijack them, to abduct them, something like this.
Okay, I think we've only got time for just one more question, and this is also related to ethics. So what kind of guidelines would you suggest decision makers use when deploying AI in the course of work so that humans are not marginalized in the process?
Very good question. Very good question. In many cases, we may suffer from bias even in machine-made decisions. We just need some bias data. And if we use those bias data and train our system with those bias data, that system ultimately would be a biased decision maker. In many cases, this is our role to evaluate the decisions made by the systems. We should be there and we should consider many facts. Ultimately, we are human beings and we should consider human rights, privacy, etc. in decision making. But if we manage to train our machine learning system properly with unbiased, fair, humanoid data, they will learn to behave like that. They will learn to behave fair and unbiased. And the thing that I can add to this good question as my answer is, this is very due to subject. This is very due to subject. Just in any case, we should make up our mind about how to handle that issue. So, I mean, in the case of social services, it is different from insurance. It is different from army or police. In any case, we should have our ethical codes and consider them.
Unfortunately, I think we're kind of out of time already. So I'd like to thank Dr. Amir for his interesting presentation and all of you for participating actively today. So if you have any additional questions or want to check out the courses that NUS offers in this field, please feel free to check out our website or drop us an email at ask.scale@nus.edu.sg. That's ask.scale@nus.edu.sg. Have a great week ahead, everyone. Over to you, Celestine.
Thank you so much. What an insightful webinar. And before we conclude the session, we would like to thank Dr. Monajemi for being part of SkillsFuture in collaboration with Smart Nation 2021. Dr. Amirhassan Monajemi is a senior lecturer in AI and data science with the School of Continuing and Lifelong Education at the National University of Singapore. Before joining NUS in 2019, Dr. Monajemi was with the Faculty of Computer Engineering at the University of Isfahan, where he was a professor of AI, machine learning, and data science. His PhD is in computer engineering, pattern recognition, and image processing from the University of Bristol. His research interests include AI, machine learning, machine vision, Internet of Things, and data science. Dr. Monajemi has for many years taught courses in artificial intelligence, including AI, advanced AI, expert systems, decision support systems, neural networks, and cognitive science at both undergraduate and postgraduate levels. Dr. Monajemi has patents in the fields of AI, machine vision, and signal processing applications, including an AI and machine vision-based driver drowsiness detection system and a low power consumption robot. He has published more than 100 research papers and supervised a number of data science, Internet of Things, and AI industrial projects. We are honored to have Dr. Monajemi on board this webinar, and through this session, we hope you gain invaluable and applicable insights for the current digital world. Ladies and gentlemen, before the session ends, please scan the QR code and provide your feedback or comments on the webinar. And lastly, I'd like to share with you about our skills and training advisory service. If you're not sure how to get started on your upskilling journey, you can sign up for the free one-to-one skills and training advisory session, where a skills ambassador will guide you in understanding your career goals and provide suitable course recommendations. Simply scan on the QR code and indicate SFMX Smart Nation in the mandatory field, how do you hear about us, at the bottom of the registration form. Our skills ambassadors will contact you within 2 to 3 working days. We've come to the end of the webinar and we thank you for joining us. Hope you have gained important insights from our speaker. Thank you and hope to see you in our other sessions.